So now I'm going to show you how to make a heat fixed bacterial slide that you can then process for gram staining. It's important that you use aseptic technique, so that means that the bacterial colonies that you're using are as pure as possible, and that means usually heat killing any other bacteria, any unpure bacteria that are on your loop or anything you've transferred. And so we're going to be using a Bunsen Flame today. It's important, a couple of things with the Bunsen Flame. There's two different flames, as you probably know. There's a yellow flame, which isn't very hot, and if you open the cowl here, you get a nice hot blue flame. And so that blue flame is really hard to see, and when there's a lot of noise around, it's very hard to hear as well. So if you're not using this Bunsen burner, you should set it back to yellow so it's much more obvious for people to see and notice. And if you're not using this at all, you should just turn it off at the hose end, so turn it off altogether. When you're actually using this for its function, you're going to have to use the blue flame. And the hottest part of the flame, a lot of people try and heat up this loop right down here at the base, and what you've got down at the base is unburnt gas. You can see that the loop isn't going red hot. What you need to do is just lift the loop up into the hot part of the flame where the gas is actually burning. So that's nice and hot there. It's about 1500 degrees, so be very wary of this. So, back to yellow flame. Now, how do you make a streak plate? Well, first you're going to need a slide, as such, and you'll need to transfer a little bit of water onto that slide. Here's some water. We can cool down the loop on there. I'd transferred about 3 loopfuls of water into the middle of that slide. So just tap it out. Maybe 3 or 4. Put the lid back on. Try not to talk over your water because that's probably just contaminated that water. Now you should burn that again, just to make sure you're not transferring any bacteria that could have possibly been in that water. That's very hot, so I'd cool it down on the agar, and to do that, just turn it so the lid faces up. What you should do is protect the bacteria from any contaminants that are in the air by not completely taking the lid off, but just by using it as a shelter and putting your loop inside there. So cool down your loop on a naked piece of agar where there's no bacteria. Any bacteria that you touch while this loop is hot will die. Now you'll want to just touch your loop to one of these bacterial colonies. You don't need very much at all. If you can see a scrape through your bacterial colony, then you'll know that you've picked up bacteria. For example, if I touch right here, you can see that a scrape has been introduced into that colony. Therefore, there's going to be plenty of bacteria on that loop. Now, take that and put it into the water there. I'm going to show you how to make a heat fixed slide with 2 different bacterial colonies on here. So we've got one type of bacteria on here. If we're going to another bacterial colony, you want to kill this one using Aseptic Technique. It's nice and hot. Turn it back to the yellow flame. Let's pretend this is another type of bacteria. Again, cool it down on the agar. Again, only using the lid as only picking up a little bit. Now, just touch one of those bacterial colonies into the water. And now here's a very important part. You get that water and spread out all over the slide as far as you can. You want to leave a little area so you can hold it. So in a minute you'll dry all the water off with the Bunsen burner. But spread this out probably at least 3/4 of the way along the slide. Okay, one last heating of the loop. Now this is really hot, you don't want to put it down anywhere that's going to burn, so a really good place is on the metal of the base of the Bunsen burner. So the next step is to heat fix the bacteria to the slide, because you're going to be washing all kinds of rinses over them in a minute. They're liquid, they'll wash bacteria off. So to heat fix the bacteria to the slide, turn the Bunsen on to hot and just swipe it through that flame, nice and quick. Every now and then, just observe if the water's on there. Once you've gotten rid of, say, 95% of the water, then that's probably enough. You should be able to see sort of white, cloudy stain on that slide. Alright, so that's the Bunsen burner finished with. We'll turn it off. And that's your heat fix slide. One important thing that you should be aware of is the glass gets really hot. You know, putting it through a flame, it gets really hot. Some people want to heat fix the other end of the slide, and so will try and switch hands with it. Be aware that that will hurt you a lot, and will probably end up with a hospital visit. So be aware, that's very hot. You should place the slide down on the gram stain apparatus and prepare for gram staining. This is the bacterial slide, the heat fix slide. Once you've finished with it, you should be able to see that there's sort of cloudy smear all up and down the slide. That's the bacteria. If you can't see that, then you may want to consider creating another slide.